Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to everyone who has joined us on day one of the Livelihood Summit 2021. We welcome you once again after the sessions in the morning. We now have track 3, which discusses jobs in the post-pandemic era. This track will be for 15 minutes and this track is being co-hosted and co-curated in partnership with Grameen Foundation India. It is now my pleasure to invite Prabhat Labh, CEO, Grameen Foundation India, to give us an introduction to the track 3 discussions. Mr. Prabhat Labh has more than 25 years of experience in leading social impact organizations and programs across Asia, Africa, and North America. As CEO of Grameen Foundation, he has led the diversification of Grameen's program portfolio in the domains of agriculture, women's economic empowerment, and health and nutrition besides financial inclusion. We welcome everyone to the track 2 introductory session once again. And the floor is yours, Mr. Prabhat Labh.
Thank you, Mayuk. Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you joining for this session, welcome. Jobs and livelihoods, of course, have been a really important area of concern for all of us, especially in last 2 years impacted so much by pandemic. We all, remember the haunting images of those millions of migrants walking back home when the lockdowns were imposed. And of course, that was, one image that none of us can ever forget. But also, last 2 years have been kind of unprecedented when it comes to what is happening to the economy. We saw one of the steepest falls in the GDP ever recorded. We also saw the highest ever unemployment rates ever recorded last year when the first lockdown happened. And then there was a brief period of recovery, and then the second lockdown happened again, driving up the unemployment rates. So in that sense, jobs and employment becomes a really important issue of concern for all of us, especially in a country where over half of our population is below the age of 27 years. And we have a very large number of young people, like almost between 10 to 12 million young people entering the workforce each year. And we have to consider where and what kind of jobs can be there for them. And it's not just jobs. When I use the term jobs, it has to be seen as jobs, employment, self-employment, entrepreneurship, all kinds of work, which supports a family's livelihoods. There have also been fundamental shifts happening in the structure of economy over years. And just give me a moment, I'll share my slide so that you can follow some of this. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah. So, yeah, one moment, let me just adjust my screen. Yeah. So in this track, we are going to have 2 sessions. One is about skill gaps, and jobs for the 21st century and in a post-pandemic world. And then that is which is going to be moderated by me. And we'll have 3 distinguished panelists joining, us for this discussion subsequently, immediately after this, introductory session. And after that, there's another session which is moderated by my colleague Purna, which talks about women's workforce participation, gender and workforce. So together, these two are really important topics that we want to discuss in this track. And we really thank Access for choosing this as an important track for discussion in the Livelihood Summit. Now on this slide, we have shared some data points, and all of you, of course, would have seen these, when the first, wave of pandemic happened, how our GDP growth rate, went into negative. and then recovered a little bit, and then again, went into negative, as the second wave of COVID happened. With this, fallen GDP, of course, at the macro level, we also saw, of course, unemployment trends changing each month. In fact, each month we are seeing a fluctuation. Some months we are seeing encouraging trends of, unemployment rate falling, and other months kind of unemployment rates have rising. So there is this graph at the center, which shows, how the unemployment rates have changed over, last 12 months. There are a lot of ways in which one can dissect data with regard to employment, labor force participation, etc. But there's some important aspects on which I would like to throw attention briefly, just to kind of introduce the issue. And in the panel discussion that takes place after this introductory session, that's where we'll go deeper into each of those issues. So first major issue that we see is, of course, huge entry barrier, especially for young people. And there's a graph on a subsequent slide that I'll show you, which shows that there's huge unemployment rate amongst the youth. So unemployment rate, amongst people in the age group of 15 to 29 is very, very high. And then it gradually kind of declines, more people find employment. There's a distinction, of course, between urban and rural workforce participation, labor force participation. But, more than the urban-rural divide, if you look at the data between male and female labor force participation, it's a huge, huge difference out there. And our labor force participation of women is abysmally low. Of course, that data does not account for the unpaid work done by women. And that's an issue on which the subsequent panel will be throwing light on. Then there is also this aspect around major digital transformations taking place in our country, which is a long-term trend that we have been seeing. And when this digital transformation started happening, a lot of people were concerned about the fact that digitization, automation, etc., might lead to job losses. But then subsequent analysis and experience actually shows that these trends around digitalization, automation, etc., are also creating a lot of new jobs, and in fact new economy jobs, and that's a positive. In fact, there is analysis by McKinsey and others which shows that the fear of job losses in a country like India due to automation, etc., may actually be not that severe, and we might actually be benefiting out of those trends around automation and digitalization. On this slide, I wanted to show you around two important things. One is the relationship between unemployment rate with the age profile, and as you can see this. On the graph on the left-hand side, the unemployment rate amongst the youth in the age group of 15 to 19, 20 to 24, and even among 25 to 29 is very, very high. And then it, of course, plateaus and reaches a stable figure. So which means that we really have to find a solution as to how we can create more employment opportunity for the young people. The second graph that you see on the right side, I'm not sure if the graph is showing my screen, you can see or not. So the second graph that you see shows the relationship between unemployment rate versus education. And very, very strangely, you will see that as the level of education increases, the unemployment rate, in fact, increases. So unemployment rate is lowest amongst people with no education or with low levels of education, like people who are educated only up to standard 5 or between standard 6 to 9. And after that, as you see higher levels of education, the unemployment rate increases. Now, that really puts a question mark on what is the value and quality of the education that is being imparted, especially in the higher education. That on the one hand, we see a lot of employers really trying to find and recruit people, and struggling to find the right kind of skill set. On the other hand, we have a huge number of educated people, but who are unemployed. So perhaps there's a huge mismatch that we have between what the educational academic institutions are imparting to our young people and what the industry requirement is. So those are two issues I thought, I'll attract your attention to. Then, I wanted to also share, this graph, which is about how the credit growth was impacted over last 18 months in light of pandemic. And of course, we know that, the economy GDP growth rate fell, and except for agriculture, almost all other sectors reported negative growth rates for the financial year 2020-21. Agriculture was the only sector that remained resilient and had positive growth rate as far as the GDP or gross value add is concerned. However, even in agriculture, you can see the falling credit offtake over last year compared to the previous years. Although it remained mostly in positive territory, which means that credit growth was still happening. But if you look at the sectors such as micro and small and medium enterprise sectors, which is one of the largest employment generators in the country, there's a massive negative growth in the credit offtake. So if MSME sector and those enterprises are like major job creators, then the lack of credit offtake in those sectors, you can correlate that with loss of jobs and employment. Services sector also had a negative credit growth rate. You also see education, a segment like education, like schools and colleges. Of course, they had to shut down, but they moved on to digital platforms, virtual modes of education. So one would not associate the lockdown with fall of credit offtake in, say, education, but the data show that even in that sector there has been a loss of credit growth. So across the board, there's a lot of deceleration that has happened in credit growth rate, and of course correlated to the employment potential of these sectors. Finally, I wanted to briefly touch upon the gender gap and labor force participation of women, and also the role of these Mudra loans, and not role, but more around how the trends around these Mudra loans have been, especially because Mudra loans are an important instrument for job creation in the micro and small enterprise segment. So as you can see, the labor force participation rate of women, or unemployment rate of women is very, very high, as depicted by the red line curve, on the left hand side graph. The green line represents the unemployment rate amongst men. So, not only we have a low labor force participation of women, even those who are willing to work, the unemployment rate amongst women, tends to be much higher compared to men. There's another, data point which I have not showed here on the graph, which is about the difference between rural and urban. So amongst the women, especially in the urban areas, unemployment rates tends to be much higher compared to rural. So in rural, which is predominantly agriculture driven, you still have higher employment rate for women compared to urban areas where you don't have many agriculture jobs. And finally, the graph on the right hand side that you see, which shows data across 3 different categories in which Mudra loans are classified. The Shishu, Kishore, and Tarun categories. Shishu being loans up to 50,000, Tarun being loans between 50,000 to 5 lakhs, and Kishore being loans between 5 to 10 lakhs. And here you have the percentage of these loans going to women, and by value and by outstanding. And you see that for smaller loans in the Shishu category, the proportion going to women is actually very, very healthy. Like 65% of the loan accounts and 67% of the disbursement actually going to women. But the moment you move from Shishu category to Tarun and Kishore categories, you find that not only the number of loans going to women decreases, there's an even more stark fall in the value of loans or loans outstanding. So which means that while there is an on-ramp, through which women are trying to enter the micro and small enterprise segment or self-employment category, but we have not built on-ramps for them to progress from small or informal or tiny enterprise towards small and medium enterprises. So those are some important data points I thought I'll share with you. And these are the kind of issues we will dive into in our panel discussion, which is coming up shortly. Those are kind of key issues I thought we will like to touch upon in this track around jobs and employment. I do, however, want to add just one more aspect, which is I talked about the issues of concern, but there's also a lot of positives happening in the economy. If we have seen the data around, say, startups attracting investment, around a range of sectors, edutech sector, fintech sector, health tech sector, and other kind of platform-driven business models. Unprecedented amounts of money or investment is going to those sectors, and those are kind of leading to a lot of good job creation opportunities. So those are kind of some positives. A sector like agriculture, I touched upon briefly, that in the light of lockdowns, for example, almost all sectors of the economy has had a negative growth rate except agriculture. So agriculture still had a positive gross value added GDP growth last year. But if you see the contribution of agriculture to the GDP, of course, there has been a secular trend that has been falling over years, and now it stands at close to, say, 18%. A lot of economists, have given up on the idea that, agriculture can create more jobs. In fact, many of them argue that there should, people should move away from agriculture into other sectors of other more productive sectors. But if you look at more closely around what is happening to, say, entire agri value chain, including the agri and allied sectors, agri businesses, then I see there's still a lot of scope for, creating jobs over there. So I think, there's a lot of positives, that we can look up to, and, the panel that will be joining us in a few minutes, I think will be, will be able to delve into, these aspects, issues of concern, what can be done, and what are the kind of positives that we can look up to. So thank you very much for joining us for this, introductory panel and introductory session. And then, after a few minutes, we'll dive into the panel discussion. Thank you. Over to you, Mayur.
Thank you, Prabhat. This was a very useful introduction to have for the track 3 on jobs in the post-pandemic era. You really brought up some of the critical questions that we hope to delve into in the upcoming 2 technical sessions lined up for the day. So thank you for those critical questions and for the introduction. And I would also like to thank all the audience who have joined us on this virtual platform today. Please remain logged in. We will follow up with the next session at 1:55 p.m. The next session is titled Skill Gaps and Youth Employment, and we have a very eminent panel leading the discussion along with Prabhat. So hope to see you again at 1:55. Thank you.
So that's just about